Hello viewers, and it's the first video of 2012 then. Is going to be a look back at last year's recently released IGN Car Pack. Today I've been sent a video by Ross from Team VVV, and he's thankfully put this together for me, which has been a massive help. Let's check out his first bit of coverage. This is first of a two-part piece of coverage on the pack, with more to follow in the coming days and weeks, and lots more Forza content on upcoming packs from here on. But enough of my rambling. Check out the first video from Ross on the IGN Car Pack.
Hello, my name's VVV Cossie. Well, that's who I am on Xbox anyway, or MW2 Ross on YouTube. I'm here because Alan asked me on, and I'm very grateful for the opportunity. Why am I here, you ask? Well, while Alan is off doing other games, I will be doing a full overview of Forza car and track packs. If there are any track packs coming out this year, that is. Turn 10 are releasing packs every month, so let's start with the one that came out recently, the Forza IGN Car Pack. This included the 2011 Suzuki No. 1 Monster Sport SX4 Hill Climb Special, the 2011 Mazda RX-8 R3, the 2011 Ford F-150 SVT Raptor, the 1967 Chevrolet Chevelle SS396, the 1977 Ford Escort RS1800, which is one of my personal favourite cars, the 1981 Volkswagen Scirocco S, the 1986 Alfa Romeo Spider, the 1988 Pontiac Fiero GT, the 2010 Maserati Gran Turismo MC GT4, and the 1957 Maserati 300S. I will be reviewing each car going from lowest to highest class in this all-star car pack. First of all is the 1981 Volkswagen Scirocco S. As you can see in the Top Gear studio, the car looks very promising as a hot hatch replacement for the Volkswagen Carmen Ghia. If you don't know what one of those looks like, here is a quick picture for you guys to check out. It was a great car for the late 60s and 70s, only this was the 80s, and Volkswagen needed to win back the younger audience that had escaped them with the Carmen. Anyway, back to the Scirocco. This car was initially released 6 months before the Golf, giving them a chance to iron out any faults found with the car, giving it an edge over the Golf and the Jetta respectively. The body was styled and designed by this bloke's name that will appear on the screen. Well, not his name, but that was the bloke. This is the in-game stats for the Scirocco. Very poor, you might be saying, but that's okay, because in Forza you can tune cars to biblical proportions, so don't worry about that in the slightest. Just remember that the chassis has to cope with all the power that you're going to put into it. Okay, we're back into the dashboard of the car, which is a lovely dashboard. It's covered in vinyl. It's very 80s, very retro. I love it. As the camera circles the car, you see the red line through the black satin bumpers and the red Volkswagen badge. That was back in the 80s. That was the GTI symbol. That was the GTI. The car handles superbly. The suspension is a bit soft and the tyres are a bit old. So if you replace the suspension and the tyres with some modern racing slicks, I reckon you will have yourself the best handling car in Forza. It is one of the best chassis I've driven with in this game. Hell, I'll even say it's better than the Escort RS Cosworth. That's probably because the Escort RS Cosworth is made entirely of rust. But Volkswagen are very good at taking care of their cars. As you can see, no rust on this car. The handling is superb, probably one of the best handling cars in the pack and the game, as I said before. You can just throw it into any corner, it'll just it'll roll, but it will grip. And the 74 brake horsepower engine may not be the most powerful in the world, but it'll get the job done. It was a workhorseman's car, basically like the early yob cars, pretty much. But no yobs ever drove a Scirocco. It was always businessmen or housewives. It was probably one of the most perfect hot hatches you could buy. Alright, take care. See you in the next car, guys. Okay, let's get started on our next car, the Alfa Romeo Spider. Here are the stats as they appear in the game. A very lovely car to drive, and I will be proving that later on. Okay, here we go. The next car, which is the Alfa Romeo Spider, as I said before. The one available in the game, according to Alfred's records, is the 3rd generation, for no other reason than it was easier to find, or it's some sort of special model. Anyway, back to the car itself. This model is also known as the Quadrifoglio Verde. I may be saying that wrong, I'm not Italian, sorry. Which means a green 4-leaf clover, which is a special version that Alfa do of their cars. It came with a 2-litre inline-4 engine with double overhead cam, special side skirts, mirrors. I can only presume that was on the specification list because other Alfa Spiders didn't have mirrors. New front and rear spoilers underneath the metal bumpers, like chin spikes sort of thing. And a rear rubber mounted boot spoiler that wrapped around, and which had some really cheap, apparently in Forza, cheap bike reflectors mounted in it for some reason, but they're supposed to be backlights. Anyway, let's get on to the good stuff of driving the car. And that, my friends, is the bread and butter of any Alfa Romeo. Here we go in the cockpit view. As you can see, a million miles of air. That's why you pick a Spider, so you can see everything around you and hear the beautiful 2-litre engine for yourself. The dials are very nice and very precise. It's all leather interior. It's a gorgeous car. It's a gorgeous place to be. It's like sitting in a smoking jacket. As we enter the first corner, the 130R, I believe. No, I could be wrong. We go do the sweep around of the car. The car looks very pretty in this lovely metallic red colour that they do for the cloverleaf cars. I believe this car was only ever made in 3 colours: red, silver and black. Here we go around the third corner now. As you see, the suspension travel is lovely, as it needs to be on these public roads. They're awful. So it's not really a race car, it's more of a cruiser. But it definitely goes like one. For an F-Class car, it definitely shifts. With 115 horsepower and 114 foot-pounds of torque, you will get there in no time whatsoever. And on your way to a top speed of 135 miles an hour in this game. As you see, some lovely sweeping angles from this car. It is definitely one of the cars to buy in this game, and I highly recommend this car just for the simple fact it's an Alfa and you need to own one to become a petrol head. So says Lord Jeremy Clarkson. Right, take care, see you in the next car, guys. Right, next car, my favourite car, the 1977 Ford Escort RS 1800. Right, here the stats are in Forza. Very low stats apart from the handling, and the acceleration and everything seems to be quite high for this sort of class of vehicle, and the stats will be surprising until you see the track footage, unfortunately. Right, okay, right, the 1977 Ford Escort. I'm going into this review a little biased by saying this car is the best car in the pack right now. Okay, let me explain first before you jump into the comments with all the hate. This car has always left me with a huge grin on my face, and I will tell you why. I was brought up around a Ford mad dad. He owned everything from Cortinas to Fiestas, and the Escorts he owned were the ones I truly bonded with, and he owned one of these cars in particular, which he inevitably scrapped or sold, I can't remember which. And when he did, I'm told I cried like every movie star wishes they could when they try to act. Anyway, back to the car. The car's base is a Mark II Ford Escort. No, not the North America monstrosity either. I do wonder why America F's up so many cars that we send their way. Anyway, this car was sold as a special edition in preparation for rallying the Mark II Escort, and to this day, Escorts are a huge part of Irish and UK rally championships. This car was launched with a 1.8 double overhead cam Cosworth BDA straight 4. The BDA basically stands for Belt Drive A-Type. Google it, I'm not a glossary, so you'll have to find out for yourself. The car was lowered slightly than the standard models and given a very unique vinyl along the side of the car, as well as some unique badges and some custom-made RS wheels. Also along with this outer trim came the inside. I believe this car was given cloth body hugging seats and grey cloth everywhere else they could put it. Now let's head out onto the track and find out what this monster has in store for me. Right, onto the track. Now, as you see, we're on the right side, the proper side to drive a car. You'll see the plasticky vinyl interior. It's all well built, and it's all built together to last. The dark grey vinyl cloth roof. The car feels very lively straight away, as you can see, shaking the steering wheel, trying to correct some of the slides. The suspension's doing its job, but the only thing that's not doing its job, as you'll see in a second, yeah, there you go, the inside wheel's spinning like a good one. That's because Ford forgot to put a decent differential in the car. They put a Cosworth engine in it and thought, oh, they'll only put a medium power output. The power output exceeded their expectations, and so did the car. The inside wheel smokes like a good one, and it's just wasting power. So the first thing you do when you buy this car, put a diff on it, and then you don't need to change anything else because the car is perfect. The suspension absorbs the bumps, it rolls the right amount, it gets the car set up for the corner, a bit of opposite lock to correct it, and you are done. You are past everybody in any track, any place. I can guarantee you. Alright guys, thank you very much. That is my short review for you, because this car really is perfect. It's probably like rear-wheel drive fun, you know, it won't fall to bits on you, and you can just have the biggest grin on your face ever. Alright, turn 10. Some Mark II and Mark I Fiestas in here, please. Alright, take care guys, see you in the next car. This is our second to last car in this episode. This is the 1988 Pontiac Fiero GT, which produced 135 horsepower from a 2.8 litre V6. And you're saying that's pretty poor from a car like that was built in the 80s, you know, 10 years after, you know, the Escort that produced 119 horsepower. I mean, what are you talking about? But don't worry, it's two different engines, two different countries, so you can't really blame them. Anyway, this car is pretty much my first coupe and mid-engine car because this car has so much mechanical grip, it's unreal. You'll see that in the driving afterwards. The body shape after it, the body shape hasn't really changed. The main body shape hasn't changed in its 4-year production run. The only thing that they have changed are badges, bumpers, wheels, brakes, suspension, electronics in the dashboard, obviously, and a spoiler. The original shape of the car is still in there. The 1984 car is still in there somewhere, but the rest of the car has changed quite a lot. Now we move on to the driving section of the car, which I think really sets the car off. As you start off, you hear the thunderous V6 pretty much pull away from the line. This is just cruising, to be fair. You see all the plastics on the dash, relatively cheap looking, but they feel quite nice, and the steering is very responsive for the age of the car and how it's been treated. I did change down because I realised that if you climb anything in a V6 of this age, you know, it's going to struggle. As we go around the outside of the car, you can see as the sun hits it, as the sun is going down, the sparkle in the paint is lovely. You know, Pontiac really made a very, very good car. And this is the test of the mechanical grip. Handbrake into a 90-degree turn. The front end swings back round. The amount of grip it had, I understeered going around the corner. I didn't expect that at all. And going around this next corner, you'll see me handbrake it again, or at least, you know, try and oversteer it into a corner. But the power lacks the gearbox necessary for it to function properly. It only has 4 gears, which either tells me that the car that the producers ever got to take from the car was either a 4-speed manual, or it was an automatic that you can magically change to a manual. Anyway, we're going to this corner. This is the only car I've ever been able to do it on. The steering straight, accelerator on, the car made the turn. I don't know how that's physically possible. I love this car, and it's definitely a rival for the Escort. Alright guys, take care, and I'll see you in the last car of this pack. This is our last car in this episode. It's the 2011 Ford F-150 SVT Raptor. Well, I say car, it's more of a truck. It's powered by a 411 horsepower, 6.2 litre V8 engine. And that just sounds really manly, doesn't it? Well, a pickup truck is manly. It's the symbol of manism, I guess. I've never seen a gay person drive a pickup truck, except Richard Hammond, maybe. I don't know. Anyway, back to this. Ford are known in America for making pickup trucks, and this is one big pickup truck. It weighs 2.7 tons, and that is a lot, but this thing shifts. I'm pretty sure if you tune it right, this can outrun anything on the road. I'm nodding along with this, because I can understand how much power is behind this car. I've driven this car, and you will see shortly. It takes off like a bloody rocket down the straight. Anyway, Ford are known for this, and they built this car for a specific need. This is one of the street legal versions, but they do make a racing version. It's called the SVT Raptor R. Like the R, I'm a pirate. But the SVT Raptor R has been entered in Baja, it's been entered in Dakar, and it's been entered in the Terrible 250. I think it's a desert race, actually, that one. Anyway, here we are, back onto the track. You can see that little red dash on the steering wheel. That means it's a sporty truck. I mean, it does roll, but it doesn't roll that much, so be on the eye out for that. The dash is all made of heavy-duty plastic. Everything works. It's a brand new car. Of course it's going to work. You go into the first corner, you'll notice that the front dies down, but everything stays pretty much level. It doesn't roll around too much. If you go from this to a Aston Martin DB5, you'll notice that the DB5's rolls a lot more than this does. The suspension's firm, so that you get that grip where you need it, and the power to take you out the corners is going to be unbelievable. It's perfect in this class as well. It's in D class at the moment, but when you tune this up to higher classes, you will be thankful. You put some racing slicks on this bad boy, and it will be the best damn pickup truck you have ever driven. if someone handed me the amount of money that it would be to buy, insure and fuel it for a year, I would take up this opportunity. That would probably be in the valley of £1.7 billion though. The amount of fuel you'll need is unreal. I'm pretty sure I wouldn't be able to insure this, probably like £8,000 a year to insure. This is one of the best pickup trucks I've ever driven, and this is probably what made me buy this pack. The Escort was the teaser. That was going to be like, oh, I can't wait to drive that car. But when I saw the pickup truck in this list, I was like, yes, I am buying this truck, buying this pack right now. Where's my credit card? This and the Escort made me buy this pack. Everything else is just a bonus. But you will see some other cars in the next episode. This has been your host, MW2 Ross, or VVV Cossie, into the world of Forza. Right, take care guys, enjoy the rest of your day. This has been MW2 Ross, signing off.
Well, it's good to see how massively passionate Ross is about his cars. I love the passion, the knowledge, the passion. They're really nice to see. He'll be making loads more videos, testing the cars, tuning the cars, everything else in the coming weeks. So there's going to be lots more Forza Motorsport 4 coverage to look forward to from him. And it's going to be great. It's going to be really in-depth. And for Forza fans, if you have questions, hopefully he'll be able to answer many of them for you. And if he can't, he certainly knows the top players who can. So that was part 1 of the IGN Car Pack. Part 2 will follow in the coming days, and from there as well we should be covering a lot more Forza Motorsport content on all of the new packs, as well as looking at tuning. Are there any quick cars, are there any leaderboard cars, you know, and how the tuning can affect each car's sort of performance. So we'll be looking at all that in a lot more detail. But that's it from me for now, viewers. As ever, more very soon.